Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Queens Lair. I am your host, Kellie Miles, and I cannot believe that we are approaching the end of the year 2022 already. We are wrapping up this year, and many of us have made New Year's resolutions, we've made goals, we've written down aspirations and things that we wanted to achieve within the year 2022. And so today's topic is the year 2022 year-end summation. And so we're going to take and talk to a couple of our guests and find out what were their goals? What were their aspirations? Did they meet those goals and aspirations? Did they bump into some challenges throughout the way? And then encourage you guys how it's just life. Things happen. You make it sometimes you don't meet the mark. But what we're going to do is talk to these beautiful ladies right now and talk about their story. And hopefully they'll encourage you not to give up no matter what your challenge is. So right now, I'm going to bring on Miss Dorcella Warren and Dr. Keanna Ralph. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello. Good. How are you?
Good. It's so good to see you guys. Now, listen, I know if you're anything like me, at the beginning of the year, you set some kind of goal for yourself that you're going to try to achieve, right? So before we jump into that conversation, I want you guys to think about that, where you wanted to go, what were your goals? But before we do that, I want you guys to introduce yourselves. Just tell us who you are, where you're from, and then whatever other information you want to share. So we'll start with you, Dr. Keanna.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, Kellie, for inviting me to the show. Such a pleasure to be here with you two phenomenal women, and I'm excited about our discussion. So, a little bit about myself. I am originally from Camden, New Jersey, born and raised. And so a lot of my life has been about really overcoming growing up from very humble beginnings. I understood at a young age that I couldn't allow myself to be hindered or delayed or set back by the different circumstances that presented themselves to me, but I had to figure out a way to overcome them. And that was the theme even for this year. So I'm currently employed, working with a couple of different organizations doing educational work. And I'm also a full-time entrepreneur. I run my own consulting and coaching business since 2016, and I love it. I'm very passionate about people. And I love being able to do work that serves people. And so yeah, a little bit about myself.
Nice. I love that. So you're an educator too. That's beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing it. So Miss Dorcella, tell us a little bit about you and where you're from.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Dorcella Warren. I'm originally from Philadelphia, North Philadelphia. For the past 28 years, I've been in Glassboro, New Jersey. I'm retired from the Postal Service since 2009, and I'm currently retired. So that's a little. I have three children, three biological children, and then my husband has five. So we have eight altogether. So we're a blended family, and that's it.
That's beautiful. I think that's great. I think because I have a blended family as well. And I think that's amazing. I think that's a topic that we'll probably talk about too in the near future. So y'all stay tuned for that. But anyway, just wanting to talk to you guys about the 2022 year-end summation. So I know for me, one of the things that I created my vision board in the beginning of the year, and I sat down and I actually saved it as a screensaver on my phone. So every time I looked at my phone for the entire year, I had the lock screen and the screensaver had one half and the other one had the other half. And so whenever I always saw my vision, and to this day, it's still on there, and I try to look at it throughout the year to say, well, where am I at on this vision? Where am I at? Have I accomplished anything? What's my progress like? So what were some of your guys's goals or aspirations in the beginning of the year when you first started out that you wanted to make sure you accomplished throughout 2022?
Well, actually, for me, for My reason for retiring back in 2009 was not a good experience. I went out on disability retiring because I had an incident where I went out on anxiety due to anxiety, depression, PTSD. So for these last since 2009, I've been dealing with the anxiety, depression, the PTSD, then added on the narcolepsy and sleep apnea and menopause. So for me, it was feeling better. This year was a year that I was going to start eating healthier and feeling better so that I can, live out my purpose and my callings, and I needed to feel better. So for me, I, was looking for different, you know, um, ways to eat better, get the exercise in. And I would have to say, that's what I did this year. That was a goal that I did accomplish, but I'm still a work in progress. So it's, still work in progress. I'm working, but I'm nowhere near where I was. So, and this is the first year I felt so much felt so much more better and so much more hope, So I'm feeling a lot better. Lost, and I had said before that I keep saying I lost 26 pounds, but I keep forgetting the year before I lost 10 pounds. So altogether, it's been 36 pounds that I lost.
Wow.
Within the year. So this year I lost 26.
Yeah.
And
so it sounds like self-care was your goal for this year. And I think,
Yeah.
first of all, is amazing and 100% admirable that you are even here to tell the story, to encourage somebody else that despite all of the challenges and frustrations that you have gone through at the end of the year, you recognize that you may not have accomplished everything that you wanted, but you have definitely made progress from where you used to be. And I think that's amazing, because that is an encouragement to tell somebody else, no matter what you're going through, whether it's stress, anxiety, frustrations, or anything, you made a decision not to allow that to define you or to hold you back from where God is trying to get you to go. So you go ahead. I applaud you, Ms. Dorcella. That is amazing. I love to hear that. So let's go to you, Dr. Keanna. So what were some of the aspirations and goals and things that you set for yourself for 2021 in the beginning? I mean, 22. Look, I'm trying to go back to 22.
So I'm actually beaming ear to ear because as Miss Dorcella was sharing her story, I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing how much they related. And it's amazing that we even crossed paths. Right. So we knew each other because we attend the same church, but we actually connected on a more deeper level last year while I was on my own journey. So I started off this year. It was still a little rocky because the previous year in 2021, I went through a lot of transitions. I had transitioned from a long-term relationship, from a full-time job that I had decided to work during the pandemic. And it just weighed on me, to both situations, and everything else that was going on really weighed on me to the point where I felt like I lost myself. And so I committed the second half of last year, and going into this year, I committed myself to getting back to me. And so ironically, during the second part of last year, I started up a campaign that I did through one of the health businesses that I run, called Get Back to Me, right? It was all about Get Back to Me. It was under called also a shred, where we did like a 10-day shred. And so I went out there, I shared my story, and showed some of my own progress on the health journey that I was on. I shared my progress on that particular health journey. And during that time, I was able to connect with Mrs. Dorcella, and that resonated with her. So it's ironic. You didn't know that as we did the show together, but we actually connected, and she was part of that program. And so to your point, Kelly, it's amazing how when we're going through our own journeys and we allow ourselves to be transparent, open, and really an open vessel, right? As we're going through our own journey, to be there and support others, it's like it makes it that much more impactful, right? And so I just thought about that today. I was in a meeting with someone earlier, and they talking to them about their journey and share it with them. Listen, a lot of times what we're going through has less, it doesn't really have to do with us. It really has to do with the people that's waiting on us. And so being able to understand it from that perspective. But to answer your question, my goal was to get back to me. And I really feel like I've been able to accomplish that goal. And I'm super excited about that. Definitely in a better place than where I started.
I think it's amazing too, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, sometimes when I'm going through something, whether it's emotional, mental stresses, or, just things that I'm struggling with, sometimes when I meet somebody else that's going through a similar situation that I'm going through, I feel encouraged trying to encourage them.
Yes.
And so it kind of like ministers to me as I'm trying to encourage them. And it gives me enough strength to say, you know what? All right, I can do this. I can do this, because I'm encouraging them. And then it helps me along the way. And it's just interesting how that works. But I'm wondering, though, what is it that causes us to get to that point where we lose ourselves? And this is one thing that I always say. I always say, like, the Bible says iron sharpens iron, so does the man the countenance of his friend, right? And so we do get dull sometimes. Sometimes the fight is so, and I might have said this in a previous show before, but it's so real. Sometimes we go through so many challenges and struggles in life that our swords get dull. We fight so much and we fight so hard, just trying to keep our own selves sane. And then we got family members that we got to try to help encourage them. And sometimes it's so much that it weighs on you. And so when you get dull, it's like you need to have somebody to strengthen you. And so it's encouraging to hear that that's what you guys have, right? Is there somebody that you feel like that helps you, or something somebody said that helps you in your journey when you get to those moments that help you to push forward? Go ahead, Dr. Keanna, you can start there.
Yeah, absolutely. I did see that. I think Mrs. Dorcella wanted to say something, and then I can chime in
because I wanted to say Keanna was a big part of my journey. You can't do this on your own. You're thankful and grateful for the people along the way and Dr. Keanna was one of the ones that was helping me on and gave me advice, and so I have just so thankful and grateful.
Yeah,
Dr. Keanna.
Thank you.
And like Dr. Keanna said, you didn't know that because when you asked me, did I know her? I was like, yeah, she's amazing. That's all I said was, and I'm will be forever grateful and thankful for her helping me along that journey.
Oh,
yeah.
They say that you have to grow through what you go through, right?
Yes.
And I believe that part of the growth comes in our ability to continue to impact others and be that vessel as you're going through your situation. And so that's where the transformation takes shape.
Yeah. I think that's good. So, do you guys think that your year started off with a positive mindset, or did it start off rocky? Because you have these things in your mind of how you think things are supposed to go and how they should go, but then sometimes when you get into that year, you get smacked with something and it's like, wait a minute, and it gives you that kind of rough start, like you got some turbulence. You're trying to fly, but you got that turbulence. And when you get that turbulence, it kind of makes you feel a little bit like you're, unstable, not going as smooth as you had planned. So think about that question, but we're going to come right back after this, and we're going to get back to that question, talking about starting your year off rocky or with a positive mindset, ready to go, and we soaring. So we'll be right back after this commercial break. All right, we are back. You are watching the Queens Lair Christian Talk Show. I am your host, Kellie Miles, and we have these beautiful queens here today, Miss Dorcella Warren, along with Dr. Keanna Rouse. And before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about how sometimes our year, it gets a little rocky in the beginning, and it doesn't always go exactly how we want it to. But then there's times when it's like we're going right through smoothly and we're soaring. So we're just going to ask them and talk to them a little bit about how their year started and then find out what challenges they ran into. So we'll go to you, Miss Dorcella. Tell us a little bit about how your year started and then what challenges you might have encountered.
Okay, it started off, I had this, positive mindset, but then, the enemy always tries to, throw darts and tries to tell you what you can't do and what you don't know. And, so that's the challenges that I've had with, for, pretty much probably me getting in my own way, letting the enemy get into my head. And I'm like, no, um, just recognizing the lies, the lies of the enemy. He has all kinds of lies, and the number one lie is what goes on in this house stays in this house. And, you can't get help that way if you keeping it in this house, and that's
true.
another, lie that he tells, tell us what goes on in this house stay in. No, you need help. So you need to reach out. And, so like I said, I was so, grateful to, Dr. Keanna, and, I had, other people along the way. My neighbor, was giving me advice on what to eat and what not to eat. And but that, you have to be careful with that too, because everything is not for everybody. So I was getting frustrated with my, with the eat, what I'm supposed, what I could eat, what I can't eat. And because and I had to realize everything what my neighbor could eat, I couldn't eat because I'm borderline diabetic. And anyway, I got through it, with the what was for me. I took, like, as Bishop would say, take the meat, leave the bones,
Yes.
So, and Pastor Aisha, I always ring in my head, which you don't conquer, you can't conquer what you don't confront. You can't confront what you don't identify. So I had to, unpack a whole lot of stuff that and identify some things, but it was got through it.
That's good. I like that. That's one thing that I love that they say, because even my mom raised me on that too. She said, you chew the meat and spit out the bone. You take the good stuff that you can get from it, and the rest of it you leave out. And then I love that one from Pastor Aisha that says, you can't confront what you don't see, and you can't see what you can't identify. And I don't know if I said that right.
Yeah, you can't conquer what you don't confront, and you can't confront that which you don't acknowledge or identify.
Yes,
so, yeah,
I absolutely love that. I'm trying to memorize that.
That should be a scripture.
It should. Yes, that's really good because it's so true. It is so true. So I'm gonna go to you, Dr. Keanna. Tell us a little bit about how your year started off and what challenges you found that you came in contact with.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually go with your analogy that you were using in terms of an airplane. So I felt like I was soaring. I felt like, I did a lot of work in 2021, and I felt like I was in a good place. I was feeling positive. I was feeling motivated. And then it's like when you go, it's almost like when you're like soaring, but then you hit a little turbulence, right? And you're just like, wait, what is happening here? It was just all sunny clouds, sunny skies, and now it's just changed. And so I had an accident going into 2022.
Oh,
got into a 3-car collision. Someone hit me, ran me into the person in front of me, totaled my car. So, and I had just was in the process of starting a new teaching position. So I'm having to rent a car and then, continue and find a new car in the process. So it was just insane. And so I feel like I went into 2022 in a tailspin. because I was really reacting to all the things that was coming at me, and just trying to maintain all the things that I had in place, because I had a lot of things in motion, and then I had to figure out how to still maintain all of that while I was dealing with this new unexpected surprise. We'll call it, right?
Right.
And so, but by the grace of God, as I went into 2022, I just put into practice the things that I had learned and gleaned over the years. And I remember specifically starting my year off and making a commitment for at least 21 days, doing gratitude journaling. So every day for 21 days, starting up the new year, I did gratitude journaling. I wrote down, I think 5 things a day that I was grateful for, and just meditated on that in the morning as part of my morning routine. And I also read a book about vision by Cindy Trump that helped to motivate and inspire me as I was just pushing through all the challenges and adversity that I was dealing with. And so I would say that really helped play a part in my ability to bounce back from what was happening. And so by the end of January, I would say mid to end January, I was back to that place where I felt like I was again, in motion and soaring, and being able to be more on a positive side of life, as you will, and be able to take the other challenges as they came, because challenges never stop. They never go away. It's our ability to figure out how are we going to navigate through these challenges. And so I had the armor. I was ready this time. And I was ready as the challenges came. And so that really helped me to get, into the flow.
Yeah, and you are absolutely right. Challenges are always going to come, but it's how you go through them and how you rebound from those obstacles when they come, and I think that's what makes a big difference. And finding something, and I like the journaling, because I think journaling is good. And I think that it helps you to kind of talk through and work through some things, whether you're journaling your accomplishments, journaling challenges, journaling, how to, different techniques of coping and going through. I think it's an amazing thing to do, because it makes you think and focus. Because when you're writing something, you have to sit down and actually think about what you want to write and how you want, how to put those words down. I think that is absolutely amazing. So I guess I want to ask you guys, what are, we're getting close to the end of the time, but how do you feel like in all of the challenges that you guys have gone through within 2021, from the beginning of the year till now, December, how did you see God move in your situations during this time? How did you see him, shift things for you? So Ms. Dorcella, you can go first.
Okay. He shift things for me because I'm always, I had to sit, you have to ask yourself questions sometimes. And I had to ask myself a lot of questions so that I could see myself. And I was in control, want to be in control. And when you think about it, I'm like, no, that's not, you tell yourself, no, I'm not a control person. I don't like to control, but I like to know the outcome. I like to, and I take your hand off the wheel. That's what he told me, take your hand off the wheel. Let me just trust me. You say you trust me, then show that you trust me. So I had to, get out of my own way, because I was, in my own way. And I just seen him move, and he said, trust me, just do what I say. If I move left, move right, stay still. And that's what I had to learn, to trust him completely.
Yeah.
And to step out on faith, and stop letting fear keep me in a prison. And when I start doing that, that's when I had more confidence, not confidence in myself, but confidence in him, that knowing that he's in control, and that I can be confident in him through me, it wasn't none of me, it was all of him. So that's what I had to do. I was letting fear just keep me in a prison.
Yes, and fear does paralyze you. Fear keeps
Mm-hmm.
you from moving and doing anything. And I think it's just amazing because God said in his word that he doesn't give us the spirit of fear, which means that fear is a spirit that we can rebuke and say to get off of us, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so easy for us to fall into it because we look at what's around us. We look at what's going on instead of what God said. So I just think that it's so amazing just to hear that you recognize that you were getting in your own way and you had to relinquish your own control so that
Mm-hmm.
God can take control and take you where you need it to be, because we can't do it on our own anyway. We
And I feel
can't
so much
because,
more free, so much
yeah,
more free and more peace, more
yeah,
peace.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, Dr. Keanna, tell us a little bit about how you saw, just give it another like 2 minutes. Tell me how you saw God move in your situations through those challenges and what shifts you saw.
Yeah, so I would definitely piggyback off of what Mrs. Dorcella said. A lot of it comes down to trust, right? And for me, trusting was being able to trust the right opportunities. There were things I was believing God for, in terms of being able to expand in my career and take on some more teaching opportunities. And also, I was also believing God for a mentor. I believe it's important to always be connected to people who can pour into you. And I've recognized there was a void in my life because I was missing that component. And I remember literally making that petition to God. One day as I was on my way to a conference, and by the time I got back home later that evening, I had a mentor. And I was like, yeah,
Wow.
I mean, he works quick too.
Right.
And it was other doors that opened. I would say maybe I think a week later, I got a new teaching opportunity that came along. And then even recently another one. So I'm actually going to be teaching at my alma mater starting that spring.
Oh,
And so
cool.
super excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And just grateful that, when we, like Mrs. Darcella said, when we trust God and we are willing to release our hold on things and our are thinking that we're the ones that can make everything happen on our own, right? And trying to do it in
Yep.
our own strength. When we really let go and let God, as they often say, then we can see him show up and show out. Because that's
Yep.
exactly what I saw and witnessed this year. I saw so many doors of opportunities open up, and I know it was definitely God that did it.
Yes, yes. I love everything that you guys have said. It's just such an awesome and amazing experience. You guys have just really poured in and encouraged me. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining the show. I appreciate you guys for coming out and pouring value, not just into me, but to all of those viewers that are getting ready to watch this episode. So thank you guys so much for joining.
Thank you for having us, Kelly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we have come to the end of this particular episode. And thank you so much for watching. There's one thing that I want to leave with you today, and that is you can't conquer what you don't confront. And you can't confront what you don't identify. That's from the words of my pastor, Aisha. So make sure you take that into consideration when you go forward into 2023. Don't worry about trying to have control. Relinquish your control because you can't do it on your own. Only God can. So allow him to guide and steer your life the way he wants to do it, and you'll always win. So thank you so much. Stay tuned for the next episode. The next episode is going to be Interview the Host. Right? We're going into the new year. We're getting ready to hit 2023. So when we go into 2023, you're going to hear an interview of the host of Kellie Miles and see what kind of stuff she has going on for different questions people are interested in. Also, check out our YouTube page right here and make sure you watch other episodes that we have coming on. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching the Queens Lair. Stay tuned for the next episode.